gender-affirming care, children with gender dysphoria, and now another transgender school shooter, this time murdering children at a Catholic school mass in Minneapolis. A courageous Minnesota doctor offers some much-needed perspective. Next. Dr. Jill Simons, a Minnesota pediatrician and the executive director of the American College of Pediatrics, is my guest. Dr. Jill, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, Liz. And let me first start by saying that I express my deepest condolences and sympathies for the families who lost children in this tragedy, including the shooter's family. And for all the families at Annunciation and my greater Catholic community, I'm praying for them all. Let me also say I do not have any direct knowledge of what, if any, the shooter, what care they were under. I can just say it's obvious that he was not well, and takes someone not well at this level to do something this evil.
Evil is right, and certainly our sympathy as well. So much of it, prayers obviously needed. We wanted to talk to you again, but before we were speaking to you just last year about your efforts, your important efforts to protect children, by calling on your colleagues in the medical profession to stop promoting surgery, hormones, and social affirmation. And then here we are dealing with a transgender school shooter known as Robin, formerly Robert Westman. We know that Westman killed himself after shooting into the Annunciation Catholic School and church in Minneapolis, killing 2 children, injuring 18 others. Dakota County court records reveal that in 2019, when Robert was then 17 years old, his mother submitted an application for the name change of a minor because, quote, the minor child identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification. Just starting there, Dr. Jill, you're a pediatrician. Despite the good intentions, what are some of the unforeseen consequences involved in gender affirmations like this and so-called gender-affirming care?
Yeah, let me make it clear that none of this, social affirmation, chemicals, hormones, puberty blockers, surgeries, none of this so-called affirmation care reduces any of the mental health problems in these children. They don't reduce suicides. So we do know that there are harms, and the evidence is piling up. And, just the fact that children can't consent to these, they can't consent to most, if not all major medical procedures, they need a parent or caregiver to consent for them. But even the parents are not being informed of the harms of these interventions. And I blame my colleagues. It's our duty to inform these parents and these patients of the harms of anything we do and weigh the risks and benefits of them. So they're not being told what all can happen with these.
And you're right, there is certainly so much science here now that we're aware of. And making this even worse in the aftermath of this horrific tragedy, the New York Post reported that Westman wanted to detransition and wrote, "I'm tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself." What is your message to minors, their parents, who may be wondering about the risks involved with these transitions, hormone treatments, and these other medical procedures?
So, like I said, there is no proven benefit to decrease the amount of mental health issues such as depression or suicidal ideations or even suicide. So we know that they are not helpful. And we know that they have considerable harm, including, things physically to the body, decreased bone density, cardiac risks, even some cancers. There's concerns about that for these children down the road. We know that it possibly could lead to sterility if they follow through puberty blockers and surgical interventions. We know there's also mental health and changes that can happen to the brain with these children. even the package insert for Lupron, one of the main puberty blockers used, warns about, psychological effects of these children. And so they're very real consequences, and they're things that can't be undone. That puberty blockers are not a pause. We know that you can't just stop puberty and expect to pick it up. There's important things that have to happen during a child's development. These hormones, in addition to producing secondary sexual characteristics, help mature the brain and help these children through what is often difficult time for kids. Puberty is not a comfortable time for most kids.
What role, Dr. Jill, do you think the mainstream media has played in all of this? I think it's been quite telling just these last couple of days after this horrific shooting in Minneapolis. Are they helping to inform the public about the truth and the real life consequences of this so-called gender-affirming care? Or are they, at this point, they just ignoring the reality for the sake of this ideology?
So this all gets back to my colleagues. This all gets back to doctors. Many in the media, even legislators, lawmakers, people who are trying to do what's best for children are following the lead of doctors and relying on their expertise. When parents go in to treat their children who's really struggling with either their sexual identity or their sex or even a host of other mental problems, and they're told that it's because they're born in the wrong body, that it's not only not true, it's malpractice. As a doctor, you have to often tell your patients difficult things that they don't want to hear, and you have to be honest with them. So these doctors aren't, they're ignoring basic medical facts. No children is ever born in the wrong body. And if they are struggling with accepting that or struggling how they feel, it's important to look into why and to treat the whole child. What's going on with this child? From neurodevelopmental disorders, autism, or other types that maybe these children are more susceptible to believing these things or not fitting in, to basic mental health problems like depression and anxiety. So to just dismiss it as this is gender dysphoria and not look into the underlying causes is not treating these children with the best medical care. And children deserve the best medical care, evidence-based medical care, just like adults and just like any other medical problem.
With all this in mind, what needs to be done to protect children from transgender indoctrination? We see it everywhere, and from the harmful and often permanent medical procedures, especially the ones that can lead to regret, or as in this case of this Robin Westman, something even worse.
Well, what I've been saying, it started with the doctors. It can end with the doctors tomorrow. It can end today. If doctors stop promoting these harmful protocols, if they look at the evidence, if they do what our colleagues have done in Europe and England and stopped, they realize that the evidence is not there, that these things are helpful, and they've stopped. So if doctors stop prescribing these harmful chemicals, if they stop doing surgeries, this ends. So in the meantime, I am urging parents, in addition to my colleagues, to educate yourselves. We have a beautiful website, Biological Integrity, that has lots of facts that parents can go to about the harms of these interventions, and to get some real help for their child who's struggling. This will end. This is not good care for our children. It needs to end as fast as possible.
Dr. Jill Simons, thank you for your insights at this critical time.
Thank you so much for having me.
That will do it for this episode of Liz Collin Reports. We'll see you next time.